your place on fire. Let's get higher. I'm gonna set your place on fire. Let's get higher. Get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene. Get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene. I'ma make it burn. 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 Get a little bit of gasoline.
Thank you for that. I'm sitting here talking away. Yeah, give me 1 second, guys. I appreciate that. Thanks for the heads up. Okay, give me 1 second. Because I'm hearing myself through the headset. I gotta turn that off. Okay, good. Thank you, guys. Anyway, welcome to the stream. Because more people are showing up now, so nobody was really here during the first part of the show. So, I'll go through everything again. Okay, so welcome to the show, everybody. We're gonna say hello to everybody in the chat. Papa Brad, I'll read your message later, because I'm in the middle of a stream. So anyway, Rainwater, welcome to the stream. Papa Brad, made in Canada. How's it going? And yeah, you're about to call me Rainwater. Thank you, guys. I'm muted. I'm good. All right. So it is a sad day in the world of iArcade today. Today they announced bankruptcy. please, I hope you have your popcorn with you because I got mine with me because we're going to be sitting here breaking this down. Now, what I'm going to break down, these are just thoughts that have crossed my mind. These are not my actual hard opinions on anything. These are just thoughts that I have. Whether I'm right or wrong, who knows? But just the sense that I get, right? So, just what's happened over the last few months. Now the games were coming out. Like I got into the iArcade. Let's start the beginning with me because this is the end of iArcade. Let's start the beginning where how I came in to be in possession of one of these things. So back last year, I decided to get into the home arcade industry. I saw an arcade one up Mortal Kombat Legacy. I don't have it anymore, mind you, but that's besides the point. But I bought that first. I brought that home, and I absolutely fell in love with it. Right, that arcade cabinet, and I just got such a kick of having an arcade cabinet in my home. And I wanted to, and there was some arcade games that I wanted that weren't on that Mortal Kombat Legacy cabinet. So I looked into some more arcade one-ups, and I bought a Tempest, the Pac-Man, and a Street Fighter Legacy. So I had all those, and then I went and upgraded. Long story short, so I just love the having an arcade in my home. And after I got through the arcade one-ups, what I wanted to buy at the time, I was looking to get sort of like a multi-cade. So I was looking at what was out there at the time available. So I looked in. There was At Games, and then they had iArcade. Now there was a big difference in price point between the At Games Legends Ultimate and the iArcade. I thought the iArcade was very reasonably priced, and I looked at videos and reviews from a lot of you YouTubers that I had before I met you guys. I'm going to shout out to Michael B for making reviews on Arcade One Up products. As I was watching a lot of his shows, P Dubs as well. I was watching a lot of his reviews because I wanted to get good opinions and just see what the consensus is out there in the community on what is a good product to kind of put my money down on. And so I went ahead and did my research, and I was happy with my products that I bought. I've got no regrets with anything, and and that's why I still like, behind me I still got all this stuff here and quite enjoying them, and I plan on keeping them for quite some time. And I'll get back to the chat in a second, guys. Let me finish my thought. And so I got the arcade. I went and picked it up, and I did my research on that, and I came home, and I was very happy with that it had modern titles that were on it, because I was looking for something different. Because one of the reasons why I didn't get the Atlas Legends Ultimate, because I'm like, you know what, maybe I can just emulator and pull it on my PC that I have, and that'll be good enough for me. And but anyway, I ended up getting Hat Games Legends Ultimate anyway, but that's besides the point. But going on with the arcade conversation, so I got that, and this is before we had like the usernames and stuff. So that gives you a sense where when I came in is right before the usernames came out, and Bash Bowling just came out, and so I went through the library. I bought Mayhem Brawler was one of the first games I bought. Dead Cells for sure. Like all those cool games that I thought would be cool to play on an arcade cabinet, and Mayhem Brawler I was addicted to it from day one. That thing I played like daily for a while until I like mastered it. It just feels so good to play that on an arcade cabinet, and then we went down the road, and I started posting that stuff on the Facebook page because I looked for a Facebook community after I bought it just to join it to the community and just to be a part of something, and it was great being welcomed to the community, and that took place back when Space Invaders came out, and I remember that, and it was back on the arcade zone when that was in existence. And shout out to Ken Creole and Gunther for that show when it was on the air, um, and the competition that they had, because I signed up and I played a little Space Invaders, and everybody, and even Jong himself, was boasting their what they could get high score wise. Oh, we can get 20,000 points and this and that, and I'm like, okay, I think I got my work cut out for me. So I decided to start practicing before the tournament started, and then showtime came, and then we were all going back and forth posting our scores. I think I posted a score of 6,850 or something like that as the final score. I didn't end up taking first place. I was so upset because I held first place for the longest time, right up until the end of the tournament, until that high score. I forget who won the tournament. I'm sure someone will enlighten me on that. But but yeah, I was so disappointed that I didn't win the tournament, because I was playing so hard, and then I kept playing Space Invaders over and over and over. It's like, how can I get a better score on this game? And I just kept playing and playing until I developed a strategy. It just clicked. I just kind of understood a concept, and then I just kind of developed it, and I'm like, this works. And then I kept posting higher and higher scores after the tournament was over, and then people were starting to take notice. And then they Gunther held a contest for the Space Invader clock. Whoever could get over 100,000 points, and we all knew that was for me, because they knew it was coming. And then sure enough, I did that 3 times over, and I still have this clock on top of my arcade, and I still cherish it every day. It's a reminder of you put your mind to something, you can accomplish anything. Um, and then and now going back to that segue. Unfortunately, iArcade was not able to set out what they accomplished. Um, Unfortunately, funding was pulled from them at the last minute. Um, let's just break it down. What reason? That's up for debate. But fact is, the money is not there, right, to go forward. If you don't have money, you can't go forward. They were already ready to go forward. It to me, now this is just a thought. It seemed like they were pivoting their business model, because they did say they were an arcade company, software company, um, and it just, this day and age, this goes back to the economy. I think it's getting too expensive to make these cabinets now, especially the quality especially that gold cabinet was, with the cost of resources, fuel, shipping costs, all of that adds up. It's just not a viable business model, because they didn't design their business model to make money off the cabinets. It's off the games. Um, and with such a drastic change in the economy just over a few years, it's made it out of reach. So it seems to me, um, now I could be right or wrong, but it just seems to me that's the way they were pivoting with the mobile app, and they were just going to go mobile. That would have increased the user base, because we already had 10,000 people with actual arcade cabinets. So we would have the benefit of going back and forth with the mobile and the cabinet itself. But I think maybe the new users would only have that ability to maybe just play through an app on their phone, and maybe you get that third party controller, or maybe they supply it themselves. Who knows? That's just a thought. That's, who knows? Probably not, but you know what I mean. It seems like they were pivoting to that, and since there's already competition out there for the handheld devices, um, such as the Nintendo Switch, and even Xbox, you can they're developing that. It's already like, and they have that little thing you attach to your phone, if I'm not mistaken. Forget what it's called, the X Bone or something, or somebody correct me if I'm wrong. And that's already out there now. You can play your, and then you've got the Steam Deck, and you've got all these other little handheld high tech things that are coming out on the market now. Maybe the investor. Um, looked at that, what iArcade's going to do forward, and I'm like, that it's just not a viable way to go forward. The competition is just going to drown you out with this business model. Now, this is just a thought. I could be right or wrong. Who knows? But that's kind of what it seems like it to me. You can't, when you're going to go down that road, it's hard to compete with the saturation of game content because you already have a ton of games that you can just download from Google Play and all this stuff already on your phone. Um, you know what I mean? Um, it's it, it that makes a good argument, I think. Now let's go back to the chat. I got to get caught up in the chat, guys. Let's scroll back. All right. So we got Miami Cuddles in the chat. You just joined. How you doing? And yeah, it's unfortunate if you're just disappointed in some of their modern releases. Not every game genre type is for everybody. Some people like a certain type of game. It's not for everybody. That's completely understandable. Um, but they did that. They did have some really good modern releases, and we'll get to that for sure. And all right, let's go. Rainwater. Do you think it was 100% financial, or did stress play a role in it at all? Um, I stress is stress with any job. I think they were stressed trying to find financing. They probably knew a little while ago, not just like over the last few days. They probably waited till the last minute to tell us that, and probably waited till the last day until they couldn't wait any longer. Um, because you got to think about this, right? Once you run out of money, every day that goes by, you go into the red. You're just making it worse. You're falling further in debt. And this brings up another point. It's better to claim bankruptcy before you get further and further down, right? You know what I mean? And that's why they said timing is everything. You have to reach to a certain point where you don't go more into the red, claim the bankruptcy, and cut your losses. At that point, it's just business, and that's essentially what's happened here. The investor decided for whatever reason. Um, the fact is the money's not coming. That we can all agree upon. Um, so if you reach that point and there's no influx of cash, you can't move forward. You got to claim bankruptcy, and then you can move on from that because you can't just keep burning burning money, throwing money into the fire. It's just not going to help anybody. Um, so, but in the end, Glenn kind of saved the day, and we'll get all to that topic further on. We'll go down, but financially, it was a hard business model because they even said it themselves that they weren't really making money off the cabinets, and I think it doesn't like we all knew like the games were priced the way they were to be able to continue to grow your business. The games have to be worth more money. You got to be making more money off of those games. Um, a $5 game, like how much are you paying the licensing fee, how much you're actually retaining, and then how many copies of the game are you selling? To be able to pay your wage for one, not only the office that you're in and all that stuff. Like you gotta have the money coming in to be able to pay for all that stuff. Um, so if it like that's why I was always saying you got to move away from like these really cheap games and start getting games on there that actually cost a little bit more because I've always said I don't mind paying a little bit more money for a high quality game. Like Dead Cells is $30. I put games like that on there. I'll pay $30 for that. It beats paying like $90 for what a PlayStation game goes for. That's how much we pay up here in Canada for Canadian dollars. I can't keep paying that every time I want to play a game. These games are more affordable, and $30 is kind of a nice price point for that for games, I think. And all right, so here we go. Miami. I think by them not releasing better modern indies played a big part. I do agree with that statement. I truly believe there should have been more modern titles, and to move away from games that could easily be emulated elsewhere and get it for free, right? That's what I believed. But that's the thing. I wasn't here for the Kickstarter or for around it, but it just seems like the games on there, or I think more so are what Jong liked, all his games, not so much what the fan base wanted necessarily at first. Am I right or am I wrong? This is just a thought popping in my head right now. You can answer me in a second. I'm gonna scroll down to the chat and see what you guys' answers are. But that, yeah. Chew on that thought for a second while I catch up on the chat here. All right. Okay. Reach out to. Okay. Keep going. Yeah, sleep on it. You're gonna have to sleep on that rainwater. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I could have put him to a positive cash flow. Well, I'm not too sure. Like, what do you mean by they took a huge risk? Um, should, they burned capital develop phase two. Um, yeah, that's the question. The investor can answer that question. Why they backed out, right? We can only speculate, and I'm not going to speculate. The fact of the matter is the money's not there. Um, the only thing that makes logical sense is the investors are not, you know, they're very intelligent people. They because when it comes to money, they do their research before they put their money down. And that's what makes the logical sense. Is just the saturation and all the competition to be able to play something on a device like this small. There's just so much out there. And I think part of the thing that did hurt iArcade is they didn't spend a lot of money on marketing. Um, if they would have marketed it a little bit better, and made themselves a little bit more known, um, that could have helped. And we tried to do that as well as streamers. We that like, yeah. Don't get me wrong when I say that. Like, this is just an honest thought here. It didn't feel like they were advertising a lot. Um, like the only way I stumbled on them is because I was just looking for, and I Googled it, right? I was looking for multi-K cabinets when I went to go buy, and that's what popped up. Um, and not going anywhere. There was no ads or anything that would show up for iArcade anywhere. Like, I was just Googled arcade cabinets because I was looking for a multi-K, and the at game, like all that stuff popped up, and then I got to make a choice, right? So I really think advertising hurt them as well in the beginning because it just spread through word of mouth, I believe, through the arcade community. And there was only one retailer that carried the arcade or the iArcade, and that was the Brick up here in Canada. So, uh, but it's unfortunate. It's just an unfortunate set of circumstances. Um, God bless Michael and God bless Jong for their hard work over all the time that iArcade was in existence. They had a lot of passion, and they still do. And we may see them again in some other incarnation of something. Um, you know, the company may be gone, but they're still moving forward, right? And just like that, we as gamers will continue to go move forward because gamers are going to game, right? And that brings me up to another segue to another point I'd like to make. Um, I own Arcade One Up, I own At Games, I own a Switch, I own a PS5, I own a Quest. Well, PS4 because PS5 and PS4 are the same thing. got my PC here. Um, yeah, so it's not what you play games on. It's about the games essentially and the gamers. That's what it's about. Um, because games are on all these things. They pretty much all do the same thing. And really nowadays the consoles are so closely matched. It's hard to tell the difference when you do side by sides. It's so close. Um, so it doesn't really matter what you're playing it on, albeit the Switch is old. Well, that's a different thing. Okay, Nintendo's going to be probably coming up with something else soon, upgraded. But that's another conversation. But yeah, if you can still get one of these cabinets made in Canada from the brick, if they're still in stock, snap them up because there ain't going to be any more in their collector's item, and the price would be right to grab it. I personally am going to keep my iArcade because it is a beautiful piece of artwork. It is a rare cabinet. I don't know how many Dead Cell cabinets they made, but I have one of them. And I know Michael B, the Game Genie, has one too. Shout out to him. And yeah, I'm not going to get rid of it. It's beautiful. I enjoyed the upgrades that I did to it, putting the new speakers in and the light strip that it's beautiful. The colors of the cabinet, the marquee, the shape of it. It's a thing of beauty. Um, like I said, it's a piece of artwork in my arcade. It's one of the things that catches your eye when you walk in. And I did go ahead and pre-order the GRS control panel, so I'm on the wait list for that. Um, so I will be very interested to getting the what is it the SBC. Hopefully, when he does reach the 500, he's incentivized to go develop that because I definitely want that. I want to be able to expand my cabinet the way he's going to do it, where I'm not going to have to like lose my iArcade games and stuff and really screw around with the internals and do stuff that might screw it up and brick it. Um, I just want to make yeah. I just want to make sure it's done right because yeah, since iArcade is no longer in business, this thing goes something goes south with this thing. Um, it ain't getting replaced. It ain't getting under warranty. You know what I mean? So if someone's gonna do something, it better be done right. Pretty much. That's pretty much what I want. So I believe Glenn's the guy to do the job. Um, based on all the positivity that and renown that everybody buddy in the community has for him. Um, so I put my money down, and that's my my proof that my commitment um, for that development of that product. So I can't wait, Glenn. Thank you very much for your time and effort developing that. Um, and then going back to the chat here, so we got Sunny. How you doing? You love your Dead Cells Gold Edition? Yeah, I remember your post on the Facebook page. You got yours on eBay. You were telling me. Like I said, that was quite the find. You don't know how rare that cabinet is. Like I said, I don't really know the number of Dead Cell cabinets that were actually made, but the number is small. It's you know it's a small number, just like the Space Invaders, the Dragon Slayer, and what was was there a fourth one? My mind's drawing a blank. I know there was a fourth one. Oh yeah, the Double Dragon Black Edition, right? Those were the four that they made. So the popular one was Space Invaders. I believe a lot of people ordered that. A lot of people ordered the Black Edition, I believe. Um, I don't think too many people ordered the Dead Cell because that was like one of the last gold editions left to be sold. Because when once we got the shipments in, like there were still gold editions left, and Dead Cells was one of them, right? So, um, yeah, so definitely. I would hang on to it. My recommendation for all iArcade owners, if you're watching this stream right now, um, they said the sale is over on Wednesday. Now, I would also take that to mean, um, yeah, the sale's going to be over, but I think take that as after that date, they don't know what's going to happen with the store, right? Um, so I think the message from them is take advantage of the sale while you can, because after that date when the sale's over, they can't guarantee when the store is going to be shut down. Because now you got to think about it like they did. They're filing for bankruptcy, but nothing's going to happen with the servers and whatnot until it's finalized, until the trustee takes over, and then they have the control of the assets and they decide what to do with it, what they will at that point. But up until that point, they can still operate the business. So that's why the store will still remain up, and you can still put your money down and buy these games as such. Um, so that would be my recommendation to do that, as well as I would load up your system with as many quality games as possible and games that you cannot be easily emulated elsewhere, if you know what I'm saying. Um, I would definitely get your Space Invaders on there. I would get your Dead Cells on there, um, Mayhem Brawler on there, Wizard of Walls, your Galacticon, your Satrin. Get those type of games and make sure they're on there before the store shuts down. Um, because once they're gone forever. And like even right there, we just saw on the screen, Retromania Wrestling. Get that on your cabinet. And well, you can, like there you go, Burger Time. Like if you especially get the GRS deck, you can use the four-way gate switcher, four-way, eight-way gate switcher, and play that game. Um, and also games that you would love to have on it yourself. Me personally, like I said, I'm going to stick with not getting games that I can get emulated elsewhere. Um, Obviously, I bought this game, and I've got this game on my At Games Legend, yeah, but I think I had that game before I bought my At Games Legend Ultimate, to be honest. So that, to be fair, yeah. But yeah, and also yeah, like the online's probably going to go too, so I wouldn't really buy like games that have the online capability for that sole purpose, like that basketball game we just saw there. Because I think again I've got that on my At Games Legend Ultimate if I want to play that. Um, Dragon's Lair, well that's a free game, the first one, so why not buy the other two? Get Dragon's Lair 2 and Space Ace, complete it. Get this the series. Um, let's see. Let's go back to the chat. All right. So definitely, yeah, Sonny, you've pre-ordered the control deck. Good man. I think that he's going to reach the 500 pre-orders. I think a lot of people did pre-order today. Yeah. Now, whether or not I want to get the artwork, because keep in mind, I live in Canada, so these all these guys they make their products in the States, and the American dollar and the exchange rate, and then shipping it up here to me. I think that's what kills it. You know how much I gotta pay shipping for this control deck when it comes up here? $70 to get it up here, and I'm in Canada. So that puts it like right up there, like well into the 200 range to get up here. It's expensive, and that's in American dollars, and then I got to pay the exchange rate, so I'm paying even more, right? So I don't think I'm gonna get artwork for the deck because the deck is swappable. Keep in mind. Apparently, remember, the deck's supposed to be swappable. I should be able to swap it in and out, plug and play. So if I want to put the original control deck back on, I can do that and play it, right? Now, I want to see how easy that's going to be when we get the SBC and the switch that controls that and all the things that plug in. It's going to be. I don't think it's going to be swappable at that point when you start adding that stuff, because that wasn't the original design. Glenn came up with this design once we found out that the bankruptcy was happening. So The thing is that doesn't even exist yet. He's just talking about it. It has to be developed, but it's in his brain right now. Like there's no product yet for the SBC. Um, that's probably why there was the delay because he had to see what was going on with Arcade One Up. Because there was because that's the thing. There's no reason to mass. I don't even think. Yeah, like he said, the control deck's not even mass produced yet, right? We got to get these pre-orders now, and then he'll start making them, and then we get these probably in he said the third quarter, and then probably like third fourth quarter he will start probably pre-ordering for that SBC thing. I would think. But that's the thing that one's got to come before the other, so we got to make sure we reach his target number to incentivize the other product coming down the line. Because that's what's really going to make the iArcade a better arcade actually. Having the ability to pretty much, I believe, in a sense, it feels like it's turning it into an At Games Legend Ultimate. That's what I think it's turning it into, that product. Because yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's going to turn into that. You're going to be able to bring your own games. Now, what would be interesting is see if he's going to supply any games, right? Now, a lot of people thinking, what's the legality of that? Well, think about Buy Stuff Arcades. They ship their products with preloaded games on their gaming box. So they sell you the hardware. Like they advertise the hardware that they sell you all of this, and the games are free. So you're given the games for free, which they're allowed to do legally. They can give you the games for free. So maybe Glenn will put some games on this thing when it gets to us. If not, then we're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna load that thing up. And I definitely want to turn it in, get some light gun games on this SBC that he speaks of, because we were kind of hinted at and promised at House of the Dead, from Michael, because he asked us which House of the Dead would you want if you wanted a House of the Dead on this cabinet, right? So. And I've got the Sinden light gun, so let's go. If Glenn can make this thing with the SBC on that, like to run Dreamcast games and stuff like that, it's going to be a powerful thing, right? So it should be able to run that, one would think. All right, so let's go back down to the chat here. Yeah, you bought 5 more games on stream after the live stream today. Well done. Same with you. Made in Canada. Well done. All right, let's keep going. Oh yeah, exactly. $24 shipping for you. That's not bad. I wish I got paid to pay that. And yeah, the pain is real. And yeah, the artwork, if it's good quality, definitely. Like if you live in the States, yeah, because the shipping and everything's cheap from these guys down there. I can't. I was thinking about artwork for like even like the At Games Legend Ultimate Pinball, like to get like artwork on the side. It costs an arm and a leg. It's same with getting changing the marquee and the artwork on the Ridge Racer from Buy Stuff Arcades. It's an arm and a leg to friggin' just get the artwork. No, I'd rather not. It's too much. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, companies. Don't hate me for that, but it is just for an aesthetic change. It's too much money. I'd rather spend that money elsewhere on like another arcade machine or something. I don't know, games. Um, I'm sorry. Don't hate me. and uh, and then Brooklyn, yeah, he's fire. What's happening, Brooklyn? And yeah, I saw that stream too. Michael said there's around 10,000 cabinets. See, that's the reason, probably one of the reasons why the investor probably backed out. This is just a thought that popped in my head. He probably saw that the user base was after maybe so many years of existence, and then you compare the numbers across. Like, you know what, the investor probably did research, right? He probably was like how many users use like certain games on cell phones, and then how many users are using playing games on the PlayStation, stuff like that. How many users here, there? Where are the gamers? Essentially, that would be where you'd be looking. Like, where are all the gamers playing their games, and how are you ranking it? From who's the top down to the bottom. Is it PC gaming? Is everybody on Steam gaming? How many users are playing and online at one time in any given day of the week? These are numbers an investor is going to want to friggin' hear. and stuff like that and compare them. And then when you look at iArcade's numbers, and depending on how much money um, the investment would have been, and how much, like how viable would have been the return on that investment, right? Like how many dollars are we talking about? So all of this combined just makes for a bad situation. All right. So it's almost like the walls close in on you from all directions, right? Very slowly, and that's what it kind of feels like happened here. And that's unfortunate because they tried, man. Like they were being very consistent with the game releases. Now we can debate whether they were good or not. That's another debate, but that's not the point here. But the thing is, they were being consistent releasing the games. Um, and then they got on a hot streak and they started releasing some really good titles back to back. And it generated a lot of excitement, right? And especially once this Operation Wolf and Operation Thunderbolt were released, that was amazing. Um, and then we just had Brock the Investigator, and then that other free game. I forget the name of it, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. But those games were just released, what, 2 weeks ago. So it just seemed, at that time, it just didn't seem like, it just seemed like it was business as usual. It just seemed like they just had to move out of their office, right? All of this is just kind of coincidental, I think. It's just like Lemony Snicket's series of unfortunate events, and quotation on the series of unfortunate events. I think that's what happened here. It's just a bunch of series of unfortunate events that just compounded on itself. Um, and it just, yeah, they fought to the last man, and you got to tip your cap to that. Because of the passion they had behind their product, and because they're gamers themselves. It was quite apparent. Like you could see that. I can't be wrong there. Um, so that's why it's bittersweet um, this day, because um, of just being like hopping on the train and continuing the journey with everybody, starting back last year up to this point. It's been a wild ride. Um, I think we can all agree on that. And I'm very thankful that they did exist. And like I said, I'm always going to cherish this cabinet forever until I can't play it anymore because maybe I physically can't. I'm old. I don't know. But even still, I probably would hand it down to my children. I don't think I would let it go. Um, like I told Jong, um, I gave him like sort of a message of encouragement after the stream. Hopefully he hears it at some point, and hopefully he has a smile on his face afterwards. Because I left the message to hopefully make him feel good after he heard it. But when one door closes, another opens. New opportunities, right? That's what you got to do going forward. Um, it's unfortunate, and things like this happen all the time. And we'll segue into that. Things happen like this all the time. Yes, thank you, Omega Fourth. Welcome to the show. And Power of Hex, thank you. That was the game that was for free that they just released. Um, damn, what was my train of thought? Oh yeah, Escape from Popo, and yeah, well yeah, it's definitely gonna hand down my cabinet. It's gonna stay in the family, and you know what? We're still gonna stream, because it's got HDMI out, and that's the thing with Glenn's deck and being able to have these other games to be added. We're gonna be able to stream them. So I'm excited for that. We're gonna have like we're gonna be able to stream House of the Dead. Um, you know, I don't know what kind of interface we're gonna get on there for that type of thing. What kind of build we're gonna get? Like we've got the Awesome Sauce build on and Coin Ops on the At Games Legend. I wonder what we're gonna have or get developed for the SBC for the Glenn's control decks, and see what we can do with that. But hopefully we get something like that with a user interface on there and be able to play all these games and be able to stream them too, which is going to be nice. I'm looking forward to that with arcade controls. It is going to be awesome. Um, and actually, that's the other thing I'm going to say. And the thing is, I want to also talk to all the arcade owners as well. We didn't lose anything today, right? Let's put this in perspective. Um, the only people that lost today right now are Zhang, Michael, and everybody that works for the company at iArcade. Those are the people that lost today. We as owners, we didn't lose anything. We still have our cabinet. Once the servers go down, we're going to still have our games on the cabinet. As long as we don't destroy the cabinet, right? Pour water on it, whatever, fry that, just, you know what I mean? As long as we don't do something foolish to the cabinet, those games are there forever. And the fact is exactly, we still have the cabinet, we still have the games on it. We still have the ability to use HDMI out and show off gameplay. You know what? We still win. We still win here, right? And the fact that we get this GRS product with the control panel and then with the ability for expansion of games, we still win here. These are all good things moving forward, and I'm excited for it. I'm going to say God bless to Glenn for doing this. He doesn't have to. He didn't have to do this. He could have just scrapped the whole thing. But he's got he believed in iArcade when it came out, and he wants to. This is almost like it's a farewell parting gift for iArcade. It's like, you know what? We're not going to leave this thing. It deserves better than how it's going to be left. You know what I mean? Can't leave it like this. So why not do this and make this thing even better? Right? I believe that's the case. And yes, we're finally be able to stream Sega games. You better believe it. When House of the Dead comes on this thing, you know I'm going to be streaming it, buddy. And the thing is, oh, and guess what? If it depending on the build, right? Street Fighter, get some Mortal Kombat on there. Ooh, maybe some Marvel vs. Capcom too. Like all those games are on that Awesome Sauce build on the At Games Legends Ultimate. Anything's possible, right? Quote unquote. Oh man. So, like I said, dry those tears, everybody. You don't need to be crying. Don't need to be crying. I'm not crying. I'm happy. It's okay. I'm drinking my coffee. I need to warm that up. That's cold coffee. But yeah, it's gonna be okay. Even the people that just picked up those Retromanias for cheap. You know what? You guys actually are the ones that make out like bandits in the end, right? Think about it. Think about it. Do the math. Actually, I'll do the math for you right now, right? So let's go here. So this is how much it's going to cost you to make yourself a multi-cade cabinet. So you're going to take the $299 that the cabinet was, you picked it up for, the sale price, let's say the Retromania. Now you're going to add Glenn's control deck. So let's say $299.99. $299.99 plus $169.99. All right? Now, maybe let's say we add $100 for shipping to cover both the cabinet and Glenn's deck, let's say. Let's say $100 for that. He said it was probably going to be probably like what, $50 for the upgrade of the SBC box. So we're gonna add another 50 there. Okay, stop it, kitties. Oh, my kitties are fighting. Okay. So there you go. So you got that price, that price. Oh, wait. My calculator's doing funky stuff. Add that. Okay. And then add another 100. Okay, and then add 50 for that. And let's say maybe another $20 to ship. I don't know, how much would you think it would cost to ship the SBC? Let's say I don't know, 20 bucks to ship that. So let's say, okay, so price all in, for your gold, not your gold cabinet, your Retromania Wrestling cabinet, the $299, plus Glenn's deck, the GRS deck, plus the $50 for the SBC, and the shipping. We put $120 for shipping for all three items, just to ballpark it. I'm sure it's not that much, but let's just say it's that. And so you're looking at $639.98 to make yourself a multi-K cabinet that's like an At Games Legend. I think that's pretty comparable, right? And you're gonna have Glenn's 8-way switcher and all that. The controls that he's gonna have in that they're far superior than the At Games Legends controls. So let's keep that in mind too. So the value difference. So this is just a thought that's crossing my mind. What do you guys think about that? Let me get caught up in the chat here. Oh boy. All right. So yeah, definitely. So guys, I think you made out like bandits. I really do. The guys that bought the 299 don't fret. Like, you probably just found out the same news today just like everybody else. You just bought this cabinet and you're like, "Oh my God, the company's going bankrupt. Wow, I just spent all this money on this cabinet." Well, yes, you did. You still have time to load the machine with games you want on it, so don't hesitate to do that. I highly recommend that because the servers after next Wednesday, it's unknown when they're going to be shut down. So don't waste time and grab the games you want on that cabinet. And then unfortunately, yes, if you want to expand the cabinet even further once everything gets shut down, you'll have to spend more money to buy Glenn's deck and the SBC. Which I don't think is that outrageous. It's reasonably priced. I think it's going to be worth the upgrade. So that's why I definitely put my money down. Oh yes, definitely plug your channel. Plug your channel right now, Brooklyn. Put the link in there. Put the link in there so I can redirect everybody. Oh. Actually, I should try to find yours and pin it. I'm still trying to get the hang of doing all this stuff with the multiple monitors, man. It's a juggling act because usually I'm playing games and I'm not really fiddling with this stuff. I don't really sit and talk for a long period of time. I can't believe I've been talking for like 58 minutes, guys. It's awesome. So back to the chat, Brooklyn Menace. Yeah, definitely. My buddy Brooklyn, he's going to be hosting the Friday night arcade show with me and Papa Brad. And who knows, maybe we have a guest tonight or not. I'm not too sure. We'll find out when we get in there. I have no idea. But definitely join us tonight for that, for another round of Game Fight. And we're going to vote on the games and see which one comes out on top based on the games themselves. Which one's better? And then we'll see which one gets game over. And then after that, we're going to be playing week 2 of our Summer Games Challenge. Play us against Goal Goal Goal, Hoops 96, US Champ V-Ball, and Bang Beat. Those are the sports games on lineup tonight. and feel free to pop in and challenge one of us hosts to a game while the online servers are still up. Um, because after that, we're just gonna have to post scores at that point. Can't play online with that thing. Um, and anyway, Sonny, you got to get up early for work. Definitely. We'll catch you later, Sonny. On the next shows. And definitely yeah, get some rest. And don't work too hard tomorrow. It's Saturday. And yeah, definitely catch the replay of Brooklyn's Friday Night Arcade show. We're gonna have a lot of fun. So once you know you're on break or something, pop it on, and yeah, we'll do our thing. It's gonna be great. Um, all right. Yeah, I think that about covers everything that I wanted to say. Um, I'm walking away feeling good, right? As we had time to process what's happened, um, I feel good moving forward. Um, because like I said, actually I do. That's what I want to talk about. Things like this happen all the time when it comes to video games. If we all recall the video game crash back in the 80s, right? And you know what happened there. I was too young when that happened. I was kind of a very little kid when that all took place. And that's probably how I ended up getting my Atari. Um, my neighbors at the time had that, and then they got themselves a Nintendo. Um, so they decided to sell their Atari and like 50 games for it. My parents bought it, right? So that was my first system. It was like a hand-me-down Atari 2600. Um, so I got to play all that, and then like of course like all that's cheap, right? Um, it's only when Nintendo came back, all the video game kind of resurrected itself. So when I got in, I think Atari just kind of flopped, and it was kind of worth nothing. And like you can get the games at flea markets and stuff like that, and knock off Atari games, unlicensed Atari games and stuff like that. I remember seeing as a little kid when I go shopping. Um, so like things like this happen all the time. Like that console went south. Even some of the Atari consoles didn't do well. You know, 5800, 7800. Um, most people talk about the 2600, and it's popular, but even that ceased to exist. And then you go through the ages. Like I'm just going through my own video game history from what I've experienced. Nothing before I was born I can really know about, but I can only speak of Atari and going forward from what I experienced. But same thing with Sega Master System. Like eventually, and that's the thing. Technology advances over time, so eventually, they don't make games and stuff for consoles anymore, and then that's it, right? And it happens everywhere. We all have all old consoles and retro consoles still, um, and they're not making any new games now. Some people do because yeah, that's just where we are. People are actually taking the time to actually make cartridges to play on the retro systems. So I know that. But that's just a few. But it's not like mainstream, mass produced. So that point is just a moot point. Um, but you understand, like, so that's what happens throughout history. It's nothing different. Systems go out of business, um, but then we can go to Sega. They had to pivot. Um, right? They couldn't continue on with the console wars. They went with the Sega Saturn, which didn't do well, and I didn't personally have a Dreamcast, but from what I could tell, Dreamcast was a very beloved system, and it was the last system Sega ever created, and from that point forward, they just decided they didn't want to compete in the console market anymore. They just wanted to focus on software development going forward, and that's how that company's continued to survive going forward. Just making the software. Um, Unfortunately, that wasn't the case with IRK. They weren't able to pivot the way they wanted to pivot, Just the way I feel I feel that's what they were going to do, but I could be right or wrong. Who knows? Um, and then you have like the Virtual Boy that it flopped before it even came out. Pretty much, it was just no good. And these are just examples of there's stuff that in the world that just does it's not successful. Um, we all wanted this to be successful. The community got brought together. Um, and we had a lot of great times. We're still going to continue to have great times. Don't get me wrong, but it's just sad that we're not going to be able to see the Zhang and Michael come on and do their arcade shows and the one more things and the human aspect of it. The human faces behind the company. That's what I think I'm going to miss the most. But like Chris Williams said on the stream, Glenn's stream that we just said, the great friends that we were able to meet in the community through iArcade, and those friendships aren't going to go away. Um, that's one thing. That's one good takeaway we can hang our hat on from iArcade. It brought us together and got us to enjoy the love of games through competition, because we could show off our gameplay and everything. Um, and we're still going to do that. We're still going to do that. Absolutely. Looking forward to that. And I know made in Canada, peer-to-peer is not going to work because it has to go through their servers. So I believe once the servers are down, the online capability is going to be gone. And it's just going to be local multiplayer that you're going to be able to do at that point, as well as I believe the leaderboards will be gone, except for the games that have servers themselves. I think Mayhem Brawler has its own server, I think. Um, Wizard of Walls has its own server, I think, as well. I'm sort of confused with those two games. But definitely that bomb game, Bomb Squad, and Riptide Renegade have their own online servers, and Bash Bowling have their own online separate from iArcade. So you'll be able to play those games online still, I would imagine. Um, we'll have to test that out once the servers do get shut down. Um, but yeah, only games that have that are run by the developers of the game will probably still be online when the servers are shut down. That's what I believe. Because you got to keep in mind when you actually go to online games like in on this iArcade, you have to pick online or local, right? So when you have that option, that's you're using the arcade servers for that. But for Bomb Squad and Riptide, you just go into the game and boom, the online options right there. So it does it through the game itself, through the server on the dev side for the game itself. Um, yeah, yeah. So there isn't very many games. I think I listed them all off already. The ones that have that are run by the game developers. It's very very few. So unless I don't know if Glenn's going to provide software like a user interface, like a CoinOps or something like that for the SBC. I don't know. Um, but to be able, but if he has developed something like that, or somebody developed something like that to run off of this thing, that's able to like I don't know if Glenn's going to be able to have like an Ethernet connection to his board where you could hook it up online, right? And maybe the user interface for whatever we're running on that will have that capability, right? Like NetPlay, and you'll be able to link with somebody through that. I don't know if we're going to have that capability. It would be interesting if that could happen. With the flip of the switch, we flip on the deck and we run that single board computer, and whatever we're running on it, boom, now we have access to online gaming. Um, you know, these are thoughts and dreams. Maybe they'll come true. All right, guys. I better sign off. because I got to get prepared for the Friday night arcade show at Brooklyn. I got to go pop in and chat with those guys before we go live. So definitely head over to Brooklyn Menace and join us on the Friday night arcade show, where we'll be having a good time. And so in closing, guys, I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. And yeah, gamers are going to game, and we're going to game on, guys. So thank you very much for joining me, and we'll see you on the show tonight. Later, guys.
Get a little bit of gasoline. Get a little bit of gasoline. I'm gonna set your place on fire. Let's get higher. I'm gonna set your place on fire. Let's get higher. Get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene. Get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene. Make it burn. 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 Get a little bit of gasoline.